That was supposed to be the moonwalk. It's not, but you can't see my feet, so for all you know it is. Anyway, hey guys, it's Dylan. Hey guys, so as many of you, if you've seen my first video, you know that I am a computer science major. What does that mean? Well, it means I'm a programmer. What you see on the board doesn't really look like programming. It actually looks like physics, doesn't it? That's because it is. So, in computer science, there's all sorts of different fields, but what I really enjoy is game design. Turns out game design incorporates tons and tons of stuff. One of those things is linear algebra. So, what I'm showing you here is something that I've been working on. So, in most video games, grenades are, they're basically just kind of like a sphere. You throw them, they detonate, and they create a sphere, and anyone inside that sphere takes damage of some kind or another. In the real world, however, grenades don't really work like that. They do very close, but out further away, you get shrapnel. Most video games don't simulate this shrapnel because most players won't notice it, and because it's not a huge thing for gameplay. But if you're going for a realistic game, you're looking for shrapnel. So this is our grenade, so to speak, and what I'm going to show up here is our coordinate system. So what these lines represent is the 3 dimensions that we are operating in. We've got X, we've got Y, and we've got Z. What you see here, I don't know how well you can read this. If you can't read it, I apologize. You know, I zoomed in on the board, but I don't have it working. What you see here is that this here, and these dotted lines are breaking up what we can see and the back half, because, you know, 3 dimensions on a 2-dimensional drawing surface gets problematic. Right here, this is the first quadrant. It's got positive X, Y, and Z. On the back half here, we have positive X, positive Y, negative Z. So basically there are 8 quadrants. If you remember from your algebra days, there are 4 quadrants in 2 dimensions. In 8 dimensions, we simply mirror those quadrants onto the back half. So here we have the top half, which represents positive Y's, and then the bottom half represents negative Y's. Then this dividing line separates positive X's from negative X's, and this, kind of like this whole surface, divides positive Z from negative Z. So when we're firing a projectile, we have parabolic motion. That is, I'll draw it. I'll erase this here. Oh God! Mom, you scared me. So when we're talking about projectiles, we have parabolic motion. I'm going to erase this here. I'm going to leave the diagram over there. But we're going to switch to 2 dimensions for a second. So, in 2 dimensions, and if you took any physics at all, this marker might be dying. Let's switch. Just like being in school, isn't it? Try green. It's less used. So, in 2 dimensions, that's better. Maybe. Yeah, that's better. We have our X and Y, and we have a parabola of some sort. Now it turns out in the real world, and the way that I'm doing it, it doesn't form a perfect parabola because of air resistance and gravity and all those fun things, but essentially we get something like this. And what's happening with the grenade is we basically have a lot of these firing in a lot of directions. However, the formulas that we use to calculate these things only work in 2 dimensions. So it takes a little trickery to get it in 3 dimensions. Now I know this is a boring video, guys. I apologize, but this is what I've been working on, and it was the only thing I could think of to do a video on. Basically what's going to happen is when you throw the grenade, it's going to spray shrapnel in every direction essentially, but basically it's going to split up about 30 projectiles into the 8 quadrants and kind of throw those away. Because grenades have the attachment on the top, my assumption is the bottom half of the grenade spits out a bit more shrapnel, so I'm going to use that to balance out the 30 into 8. But, you know, I thought maybe you guys would enjoy a little explanation of how a computer scientist needs more than just computer science to understand what they're doing. I'm also wearing my geek shirt. PEBCAK. problem exists between keyboard and chair, or some IT people prefer to call it PEBCAC with the C first, problem exists between chair and keyboard. Now that's kind of semantic, but you know, there's been heated arguments on it. Don't even get me started on the old school editor wars, though those have passed long ago. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. I just wanted to share it with you guys because this is really where my passion lies, in programming and figuring out how to solve these problems. If you guys like this video and want to know more about computer science, maybe I can do more talking about it. I mean, the problem with computer science is it's so hard to get an entry point into it. It's a very hard field. There's a lot of people in majors like accounting and things that have routinely told me or told my parents when they said what I did that they thought the computer scientists were the really smart guys because they knew how to do this stuff that no one else could figure out. And so it's very hard to introduce people to the topic in a way that doesn't just... But that's all I have for today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.